Good morning, everyone. My name is Curtis Bennett. I'm the Director of Equity and Community Engagement at the National Aquarium in Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm happy to be here this morning with some of our teammates from our conservation programs team to really explore this amazing green space here in the Brooklyn community in South Baltimore. I want to say thank you to both Greater Bay Brook Alliance and the Friends of Garrett Park for inviting us out here today for this incredible tour of this really valuable green space in the Brooklyn community. Both Greater Bay Brook Alliance and Friends of Garrett Park do a lot of incredible programs here in the park, and you definitely want to keep your eyes open for when those programs become available. So at the National Aquarium, our mission is to inspire conservation of the world's aquatic treasures. And when we do that, we're able to help drive conservation action for the benefit of people, animals, and our planet. One of the most amazing projects that we've been able to do within the conservation programs team has been our 10-year partnership as part of the Masonville Cove Urban Wildlife Refuge, which is actually located about 5 minutes away from this park here, Garrett Park. Now, both Masonville Cove and Garrett Park are incredible green spaces. These spaces, they have a lot of benefit for us. And one of those really important benefits is thinking about a social gathering place, a place where people can come together, celebrate community. It's important for our young people. It's important for all of our community members to have these spaces just to be able to exercise, walk around, and enjoy. And lastly, these places are amazing just for relaxing. Just look around you at the trees, the grass, even the skyline of Baltimore City. Right? What amazing views. These places can bring a lot of calmness. They can bring a lot of that relaxation, which is incredibly important. And interestingly enough, I don't know if you can see it, we actually have wildlife everywhere, right? Including this amazing bald eagle that's on the top of one of these telephone poles. Nature is everywhere. Wildlife is everywhere for us to explore. And I'm excited for you all to meet the rest of the conservation programs team today to learn more about some of the environmental benefits of this incredible green space, Garrett Park.
Hello, my name is Langston Gash from the National Aquarium, and I'm here to talk about how urban green spaces, such as the one in Garrett Park, are beneficial to the natural environment. 4 things that all animals need to survive in a habitat are food, water, shelter, and space. And the usual trend is that the more diverse the habitat is, the more various animals it's going to attract. So for example, the more types of food available in the area, the more water sources there are, the more space there is, it's going to allow for more animals to come into the area and habitate. This is especially important in urban areas because they operate on a limited amount of natural resources available. Because a lot of the land in urban areas has been used and converted to make infrastructures. So it's been used to make things such as houses and grocery stores and other types of buildings. At the same time, don't let that cause you to underestimate the amount of diversity that can be found in an urban green space. Take this bird tree, for example, this oak tree. On it, you'll see a bird feeder. That bird feeder allows for a plethora of bird species to come into the area and habitate because it allows them a place of shelter. It gives them access to various types of foods as well. If you look farther down the hill right there, you'll see another box on the tree. That is used for the bees in the area, and the idea is that the bees will be attracted into the box, they'll make their hive in the area, and that allows for another habitat for the bees to live in. Bees are very important in the lives of humans because bees are a type of pollinator. That means that bees allow for various types of plants to grow, and some of these plants produce food. A fun fact is that if bees did not exist on the earth, a lot of the foods that humans consume, our corns, our tomatoes, various types of vegetables, would not be around for human consumption, and humans, in turn, would have a limited source of food supply. The bee boxes were donated by Filbert Street Garden, and Filbert Street Garden itself also has bee boxes in that area. The bee boxes also provide a type of corridor for the bees as well, because it allows them multiple habitats and it gives them a chance to go back and forth between the gardens, and that in turn allows them to pollinate more plant species.
Hi, my name's Amber, and I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite things, weeds. Did you know that the cure for an itchy bug bite or a headache or maybe even an upset tummy can be found in your neighborhood park or in your backyard? Uh, well, it can. Some of what we call weeds are really resources for not only the pollinators in the world, but also for us in terms of food or medicine. And always, always check with a source like iNaturalist or other plant identifying application before you actually ingest anything. We don't want you getting sick. One weed I'd like to talk about is the dandelion. You can recognize it from its distinct leaves and its yellow blossom, or by its fluffy seed head that you blow into the wind in the spring. Dandelions are edible all the way from the root to the flower. The roots and stems are good in stocks and soups, and the leaves are great in salads, but you're going to want to pick them early in the spring when they're nice and small and green. As they grow and become a longer leaf like this in our late summer here, they get more bitter and not as tasty. Now the flower you can also put in salads, but they make a great addition to stir fries too. So many of you have heard of dandelion tea or dandelion wine. For the tea, what you do is you take the dandelion roots, dry them, and you can ground them up into a powder and put them in a tea bag and steep them. They also are used to make coffee in some places. Another weed resource is the chicory plant. Now, chicory is known for its light blue flowers and its thick stems. It feels very woody to the touch. And so then the light blue flowers that have these delicate petals that look a little feathered on the ends. And chicory is a big one. It's another coffee substitute where you can take the roots and roast them and grind them up for a stimulating drink. But then this is also and mostly used as a upset stomach remedy. It can soothe an upset tummy. It can relieve mild constipation, and it's all around just a digestive aid. Again, make sure that you've got chicory and not some other blue aster or other pretty blue flower by using some type of identification tool. Here we have another plant that can be medicine or food. It's called plantain. Now, plantain grows in disturbed areas like around tree roots, such as this, where there's patchy ground, and it can also be found growing out of the cracks of sidewalks. It has oval leaves with deep stripes in it. The seed head is another way to identify plantain as opposed to other common weeds. It is a tall stamen with just a straight stalk of seeds on it. The plantain leaves can be eaten either raw or boiled or roasted, but I'd recommend the younger ones because as the plant ages and the leaves grow bigger, they become a little bitter and woody. And in summertime, when bug bites are itchy as heck, plantain can be used as a poultice to grind up and apply to your bug bite and soothe the itch. It's a natural pain reliever.
Hi, my name is Hallie. Do you all remember Masonville Cove? My teammate Curtis mentioned it earlier. It's an urban wildlife refuge here in Baltimore City. And it's a neighbor to Garrett Park, where I'm standing right now. You can find it just on the other side of the train tracks here in Brooklyn. Similar to Garrett Park, it's what we would consider an urban green space. And Garrett Park and Masonville Cove alike connect to a greater network of these urban green spaces you can find all across Baltimore City. They're all serving an important function here for a number of different reasons. They provide space for recreation for our communities, they help to combat some of that urban heat island effect, and they help provide wildlife habitat for a lot of the animals that live here right in Baltimore City. Now, these urban green spaces are essentially invaluable resources for not only the people but the animals living across Baltimore City. And for that reason, we have a shared responsibility to help keep them healthy. Now, if you look right next to me, you'll see an art piece. And this art piece helps remind us of some of that shared responsibility. This particular storm drain stencil was put here by local students from the Brooklyn Boys and Girls Club. And it helps remind us to keep these urban green spaces healthy because they don't only affect our communities here, but they connect to communities all across Maryland. They are serving a function to remind us to prevent stormwater runoff. Now, what exactly is stormwater runoff? Well, anytime it rains, which we're more than familiar with here in Baltimore, anytime it rains, that water is going to be hitting the land. Now, a couple of things can happen. If it lands in areas like grass where there's soil behind me, it can get absorbed into the soil. But when it lands on things like pavement or our asphalt roads, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is it's instead going to start trying to make its way to the closest available water body. Here in Baltimore City, that is the Patapsco River. And it's going to make its way there through a series of these storm drains that are connected all together. Now, the water is not the only thing that is making its way there. Anytime that water starts flowing, it's going to be picking up things it comes across on the land. That could be dirt, that could be chemicals on our roads, that could be twigs and leaves, and it can also be trash. So you'll notice right here next to me, right on top of this storm drain, we also have some trash. Some of that trash was picked up all across this area and eventually made its way here to our storm drain. Now, some of it is being stopped, but a lot of it is making its way through. And once it gets into this storm drain, it's not just going to stop there. It's going to make its way into the Patapsco River and then ultimately into the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. So even here, standing really, really far away from the Atlantic Ocean, we can still have an impact on the habitat there and on the people living there as well. It comes back to that shared responsibility and that connectedness, not only here across Baltimore City, but all across Maryland and really all across the world. And so we can help keep a lot of these areas clean and healthier, not just for ourselves, but for a lot of other people as well. And that starts with us. So not only do we have the awesome chance to explore these green spaces, but we have the awesome responsibility to help keep them clean, because it can help protect animals and people. It can also help make these spaces a lot healthier and more enjoyable for us too when we're using them. So next time that you see trash on the streets, take a moment, pick it up, see if you can put it in a trash can. And that can help stop some of that trash from ending up right here next. All right, thank you everyone for joining us this morning and exploring around Garrett Park with us. We hope that by getting to get a first-hand view of some of the hidden gems within an urban green space like this, that you too will appreciate some of those urban green spaces near you. Whether that's appreciating that vacant lot down the street or feeling inspired to go explore around whatever the closest city park is to you. But thank you for joining us, and we hope